Hey, what's up, everybody? You already know we just here for the comments, man. And we about to talk about this story, man. First of all, before we super really get into this, I just want to say my condolences to the family of Sonya Massey, um, whose life was taken away from her by police officers. And this isn't the first time we've seen this. We've seen this so many times. But to actually be able to see it on video and see what transpired for these events to unravel and occur is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, from what I've seen in this video, Sonya was telling the officer that she rebuked him in the name of Jesus. And this is very, very powerful. It's very, very profound for her to say that. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That's what she said. And that officer got really upset when she said that. And I wonder why. Why did he get so upset? Because she was telling him basically, you're a devil. I rebuke you. You're not gonna, like, Jesus got me. I'm not gonna let you ruin my day. And what does this guy do? Instead of, de-escalating the situation, I guess they were telling her to take a pot off the stove, which she went to go do and accidentally dropped it. She apologized, and then the officer shoots and ends the life of this woman. So what do we say to this? Reports are coming out now that they said that the police said it was a suicide, and they're trying to cover it up and justify the murder of an unarmed woman. How are we supposed to respond to this, ladies and gentlemen? How many times are we going to go through this? How many times these things happen? And, we try to make it seem like it's an isolated incident. They try to go ahead and say, oh, well, she did this back when she was in high school. Like, where does it stop at, man? Where does it end at? Because I'm noticing a lot of people don't understand. They don't get it until it hits home. But let's look at some of the comments. Let's see what the people are saying about this. Someone says he shot her because she was moving the pot. They told her to take it off the stove. WTF just happened. Look how far she was. She didn't have a weapon. OMG, my condolences to her family. How many individuals are shot, gunned down by law enforcement? And I'm talking about not just like one shot. I'm talking about like riddled with bullets. We have seen this time and time and time again. Now you're shooting down women who's unarmed? What's the justification for that? How is it that your training didn't get kicked in? What type of training do these police officers have even that are doing this, that are doing these things? What kind of police training do you have? What kind of de-escalation do you have? Is it right to be able to shoot and gun down somebody just because you don't like the tone of their voice? You don't like what they're saying to you? I thought that when you are a police officer, for one, you're supposed to uphold the law, be able to de-escalate a situation. You're supposed to be able to think clearly than the average individual, held at a higher regard because you are wielding a weapon. You are the trained one. You should be the one that's more responsible to be able to de-escalate the situation. But that didn't happen here. The fact that they reported it as a suicide is all you need to know about this system. Okay. Is the suicide in the video? I missed it. That's what people are saying. He had absolutely no remorse either. And a lot of times they don't have any remorse about us. They don't live in our neighborhoods. They could care less about what happens to us. We are not looked at as the same. And a lot of times, we all know what it is. The police is going to protect their own. That's what they do. But then they have the nerve to say, oh, well, these individuals are gang members and these individuals are gang members. And it's like, well, you guys are gang members. You protect each other. You have a total disregard for life in many instances. No one sees you and say, oh, thank goodness the police are here. They're terrified. They're fearful. They're the ones fearful for their life. But you guys are the ones that always claim that you're fearful for your life. She followed his procedures and did nothing wrong, but she still got shot anyway. How many times have you seen it where police is like, hey, don't move, but then grab your license, but don't move. We'll grab your insurance, don't move. It's like, keep your hands where I can see them, but then go grab this. Yo, the directions are all over the place. You're dealing with people who aren't trained to deal with police in these situations, but you as the police are trained to deal with these situations, yet you guys flip out on us like we're the issue. Like we're the problem. Like we just didn't want to listen to reason. We're human beings. We have emotions. You are supposed to be able to de-escalate a situation and bring it back down. You're supposed to have some sort of people skills, which a lot of these officers just do not have. They don't. No people skills because they don't even have the patience. They have the patience to administer any type of resolve. It's all this shoot first, ask questions later concept that just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Somebody says, why every election they do this? I'm sick of marching, protesting, and posting on IG. We need to get on what they on because it's clear they not going to stop until we make them stop or somebody take one of their babies from them. I'm sick of it. Hey, look, man. That's the thing, right? Let's just say that something like this occurs, and when it occurs, someone says, you know what? They're not going to do the press conference. They're not going to go into the polls and, talk to the people with a press conference or talk to the news and have a CNN or a Fox. They say we're not going to do any of that. What we're going to do is get justice in our own way. Would they be wrong? Now you got some people that say, yeah, they're absolutely wrong because you got to have justice and take justice into your own hands. But when justice is not being served and you're not getting justice from the people that you feel you should be getting justice from, what do? I thought that this country was built on putting laws and things in place for the people to have an uprising against crooked government and crooked officials and things of that nature. I could have sworn that's what it was for. I could be wrong. But I think some people do have their breaking points. They have the point where they're just like, you know what? We just cannot take this anymore. They don't want to talk. They don't want to march. They don't want to reason. They want get back. They want retribution. And my question is, as wrong as it may seem, could you blame them? Could you blame them? Because it seems like a lot of time, especially in the media, that when something wrongfully happens to an individual and they're pleading out in tears, they don't get the sympathy from the officials. They protect their own. They don't get sympathy from the courts, from the media. Nothing is really done. If anything, they ask for immunity from their acts. So they're not held accountable for their actions. And they're just like, how is this possible in 2024 that we're still dealing with the foolishness? How? Somebody says they need to give them the chair. RIP Sonya Massey. Why don't the police make these many mistakes with white people? Next excuse is going to be he thought he grabbed his taser. We already know in America that the way certain individuals get treated versus how we get treated are proportionally different. We know this. Has anything been done about it? No. People talk a good game, especially around election time and things like that. But is there really any action that actually happens? I don't believe we can say that it is. You know, black people in America have never had a good relationship with law enforcement. I don't think law enforcement ever was intended to have a good relationship with the black community in the first place. But I do believe that we as a whole, as society, need to focus on having more police officers that look like us rather than having basketball players. I believe that we need to have more of us as judges than football players. I think we need to have more of us as lawmakers and blacks in Congress than entertainers and rappers. I 100% believe that, but we'll keep going. The head of the department should step down. I don't see how that's a solution to anything, but okay. Well, I don't want to talk about them. Wow, this is so sick for them to try to cover it up as a suicide. That's enough evidence right there. And you know the crazy part is, what if there was no video surveillance? Like it's been for decades and decades and decades and decades. How many dead bodies are there? How many people have been left in prison? How many people have been executed in prison and they just lost the files and act like they don't know what happened? How many crooked individuals are there? Let's not get started with the LAPD. Let's not get started with Chicago PD. Let's not get started with NYPD. Let's not, I mean, we know this, man. This is not nothing new. And any officers that try to come in and do the right thing, that's why I think there needs to be a vast majority of more, good, wholehearted individuals who understands right from wrong, is because you're going to have to attack it from the inside out. This is not a battle we're going to be able to fight on the outside. We have to infect it on the inside. It just is what it is. Because they're not, the ones who are crooked, the ones that's up in high power, they're not turning on their buddies. They're not doing it. They're going to stand firm. They will lie. They will cheat. They will steal. You have tons of these officers come out and talk about it later on in books, and they want to share their story of how corrupt they were. They even missed the life. They thought it was a really, really good time, knowing what they did. And some, when they get older, they feel like, we did wrong. But this individual right here, scumbag. She was 100% correct for rebuking this individual, because this person is demonic. For you to shoot and gun down a woman, and you're supposed to uphold the law. You're supposed to be a peacemaker. You're supposed to be a public servant. And if I'm not correct, please correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't she the one that called the police? I used to tell people, yo, man, I don't like calling the police. They don't understand why black people don't be like, nah, man, don't call the police. Because you can call the police and you could ask for their help, and you end up being the one to catch the bullet. You end up being the one catching the stray. You end up being the one in handcuffs, or worse, killed. It's so sad to the point where I'm kind of numb to it now, man. In a sense of, here we go again. I feel just like not Carl, but CJ from Grand Theft Auto. Oh, shit. Here we go again. Here we go again. Another person unalived, if you will. Here we go again. Another sign of police brutality. Here you go again. People going to talk about, well, what about black on black crime? Here we go again. We don't stay focused on the task at hand and hold that individual accountable. We want to talk about everything else but the problem. Here we go again. We not getting the laws in place to help us. Here we go again. I'm not advocating for retaliation or anything like that. I'm just saying, why? Why is it that when these things happen, The good people always seem to get it. But these guys who go out of their way to torment the neighborhoods, to be so gangster, violent, and all that, all these different police officers, security guards that have done wrong to our black women, to our black children, to our black men, they never get the smoke. Nobody ever has smoke for them. They want to have a press conference and people want to march. You want to gun down rival ops for standing on your block, but when a black woman in your neighborhood get, unalived and stuff by the police, law enforcement, where's our men at? Where's our men at? That's why black women don't feel safe. That's why the children don't feel safe, because a lot of these guys are cowards, man. A lot of these guys are cowards. They won't stand up for what's right. They only represent and stand up for what's wrong. Nigga mentality. A bunch of niggas only caring about, money, cars, the fast women and all that stuff, and sports, but y'all don't give a damn. Y'all don't care. Y'all not gonna do nothing to wild out. Why don't we have some people that's willing to crash out when stuff like this happen? Yo, you know what? You crash out, we're gonna take care of your family, the neighborhood, stick together, we're gonna look out for you and stuff, just like the police do. Just like the police do. Because the police is gonna hold down theirs. They gonna 100% hold down theirs. No problem at all. But with us, we let them damage us, we damage ourselves, and yet again, we have another mother, another father, another friend, another family member crying in pain when something like this happens. And we have no answer for them. The full video gives the true depiction of how demonic that officer was. This is absolutely devastating. It happened to Sandra Bland. It's happened to so many black individuals. The U.S. is a police country. We lock up more people than anywhere else in the world. We have a failed police system. We have a failed prison system. We have a failed, all that is failed. It's 100% failed. I don't understand how you still in business. How is it that you can make one mistake on your job and you get fired, but then you got an establishment like this, an organization like this that has completely failed on numerous occasions, back to back? We're talking about deaths. We're talking about shootings. We're talking about people in handcuffs still getting killed. How is it that you have 4, 5, 6 guns pointed on an individual while they're in handcuffs? What kind of training are we talking about here? What are we doing? What are these police so afraid of? How is it that you cannot handle and de-escalate a situation at this caliber with a woman who's in her pajama clothes, her night clothes, her house clothes, with her hair tied up and everything like that, got a thing of boiling water on the stove, and you got to shoot her? You have to, if there was anybody else in the situation and they try to say, oh, well, she had this boiling water and I told her to take it off the stove and she did and dropped it and then I shot her, they will be under the jail. But in this situation, in this scenario, you calling back up, you letting her know it was a suicide, oh, there was a gun. Anything to not take accountability, because you know a lot of these officers aren't even properly trained. A lot of these officers don't even go through psychoanalytics, like to see where they are mentally. A lot of these dudes are effed up in the mind. A lot of these dudes got some serious freaking issues. Very, very crazy, power hungry, complex, treat people just like they're trash. But these are the people that's supposed to uphold the law. Just very, very discouraging, man. This absolutely disgusting. How the F you tell her to turn off the pot, then you bet not throw it on me? What the F made him think she would do that, especially while she's pouring it in the sink and you order her to take it off the stove? Nah, he on drugs and need to be on death row. Listen, if there was ever a police officer that needed to be shown an example of, this would be the case. This would need to be the case, because these guys want to run around and feel like they can do whatever with immunity, with impunity. Nothing should happen to them just because they're a police officer. I don't agree with that. If anything, when you're a police officer, you should be held at a higher accountability than even the average person, because you were sworn in, you've been trained way better than the average civilian on how to conduct yourself. And when you don't uphold that, you should have the book thrown at you, because you are a representation of the worst piece of scum and trash that we could ever have in our police force. You're not a representation of what police supposed to represent. You're not. You're a stain to remind people of what the police force can do when it's in the wrong hands. That's why I encourage a lot of minorities and other cultures to get in the police force and help to protect, survey the area of your neighborhoods so that you can have more people that look like you, who understand you, who will take out the time to be a decent human being to you. This man, this police officer, I don't even want to call him a police officer because he's trash. But he wasn't a human being. He showed his true colors as the devil that he was, the devil that he is, and that he always will be. And she called him out on it. She saw it. She saw what she was dealing with and called him out on it. And he went ahead and just proved her point right then and there. Right then and there. He has a disregard for life. He has a disregard for women. And he for damn sure has a disregard for African Americans in this country. Like they said, no remorse, didn't care, and even worse, even as insult to injury, you want to lie about it. You want to just sweep it under the rug like it's never happened. The same way they do about our reparations, the same way they do about slavery, the same way they do about anything in this country that has left a stain and a bad taste. Because every other country, don't forget, every country knows what they done to us in this country. They know. We'll see how many countries try to reach out and be like, hey man, you know, the US, y'all need to stop doing this to the black Americans in that country the way every country want us to represent and help out and you know, chant them on. We'll see. Because a lot of times it doesn't happen. We'll see if she get the respect that she deserves, if she gets the justice that she deserves from these crooked, demonic entities that are just nothing but a bunch of scum on this earth. We'll see if she get what she deserves. Because a lot of times, without every single piece of evidence on the planet that you just can't refute without a shadow of a doubt, they really get treated as innocent until proven guilty, unlike us. She got proven guilty before she was innocent. She was already, he was the judge, the jury, and the executor in this situation. And honestly, he probably don't even care. The only thing he cares about is his reputation, his job security. That's it. That's it. Not, oh man, in the eyes of God, I took somebody's life. I was wrong for this. I took away somebody's mother or daughter or sister or cousin or auntie. Took away a child of God. It's not what's going through his mind. All he can think about is his funky ass career and what's happening and justifying and lying so that he can have a scapegoat. That's it. So I have no remorse for this man. I have no sympathy for this man. And I really hope that he gets what's coming to him for the full extent of the law that he failed to uphold, that he failed to protect, that he failed to coincide with the laws and the procedures and the protocol of just treating somebody like a decent human being. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Once again, rest in peace, man. My condolences to her family, to her friends, to her loved ones. Rest in peace, Sonya Massey. Talk to y'all later, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments.